Hey everybody, welcome to our Diesel Dreamers team call. It's Monday, March 6th, 2017, and I'm super excited to see everyone's faces. We're gonna have a call about the why today. So I don't know if you guys saw Emily's video this morning, but she did a great video talking about her why and how somebody she met who was helping her at a running shoe store asked her why she was doing this, right? Like why she was on her fitness journey, why she decided to get healthier and live this active lifestyle and all that awesome stuff. And it made her think about why was she doing it, you know? Sometimes we kind of get lost in like the daily hustle of work and school and other obligations and knowing what you have to do as a coach, but you kind of forget like the purpose of why you're on this journey and why it's important to stay on track and what you're trying to accomplish like long term with this business and with this healthier lifestyle. So I just wanted to share a quick video by this guy named Simon Sinek. I don't know if you guys heard about him, but he actually has a book called Start With Why, and it's very impactful, the book itself, and he did like a TED Talk, so it's like a really brief summary of what the why is and how it not only impacts you as an individual, but it impacts the work that you do when you are trying to, you know, build a business or create, you know, some kind of culture around your product or your brand and whatnot. So I'm gonna do a screen share. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let's see. It's not this one. All right, I think I'm on the right one. Can you guys see like TED on the screen? All right, cool. Just checking.
How do you explain when things don't go as we assume? Or better, how do you explain when others are able to achieve things that seem to defy all of the assumptions? For example, why is Apple so innovative? Year after year after year after year, they're more innovative than all their competition. And yet they're just a computer company. They're just like everyone else. They have the same access to the same talent, the same agencies, the same consultants, the same media. Then why is it that they seem to have something different? Why is it that Martin Luther King led the civil rights movement? He wasn't the only man who suffered in a pre-civil rights America, and he certainly wasn't the only great orator of the day. Why him? And why is it that the Wright brothers were able to figure out controlled powered manned flight when there were certainly other teams who were better qualified, better funded, and they didn't achieve powered manned flight? The Wright brothers beat them to it. There's something else at play here. About 3.5 years ago, I made a discovery. And this discovery profoundly changed my view on how I thought the world worked, and it even profoundly changed the way in which I operate in it. As it turns out, there's a pattern. As it turns out, all the great and inspiring leaders and organizations in the world, whether it's Apple or Martin Luther King or the Wright brothers, they all think, act, and communicate the exact same way, and it's the complete opposite to everyone else. All I did was codify it. And it's probably the world's simplest idea. I call it the golden circle. Why, how, what? This little idea explains why some organizations and some leaders are able to inspire where others aren't. Let me define the terms really quickly. Every single person, every single organization on the planet knows what they do, 100%. Some know how they do it, whether you call it your differentiating value proposition or your proprietary process or your USP. But very, very few people or organizations know why they do what they do. And by why, I don't mean to make a profit. That's a result. It's always a result. By why, I mean what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief? Why does your organization exist? Why do you get out of bed in the morning? And why should anyone care? Well, as a result, the way we think, the way we act, the way we communicate is from the outside in. It's obvious. We go from the clearest thing to the fuzziest thing. But the inspired leaders and the inspired organizations, regardless of their size, regardless of their industry, all think, act, and communicate from the inside out. Let me give you an example. I use Apple because they're easy to understand and everybody gets it. If Apple were like everyone else, a marketing message from them might sound like this. We make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? Nah. And that's how most of us communicate. That's how most marketing is done, that's how most sales is done, and that's how most of us communicate interpersonally. We say what we do, we say how we're different or how we're better, and we expect some sort of behavior, a purchase, a vote, something like that. Here's our new law firm. We have the best lawyers with the biggest clients. We have, we always perform for our clients, do business with us. Here's our new car. It gets great gas mileage. It has, leather seats. Buy our car. But it's uninspiring. Here's how Apple actually communicates. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? Totally different, right? You're ready to buy a computer from me. All I did was reverse the order of the information. What it proves to us is that people don't buy what you do, people buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. This explains why every single person in this room is perfectly comfortable buying a computer from Apple. But we're also perfectly comfortable buying an MP3 player from Apple, or a phone from Apple, or a DVR from Apple. But as I said before, Apple's just a computer company. There's nothing that distinguishes them structurally from any of their competitors. Their competitors are all equally qualified to make all of these products. In fact, they tried. A few years ago, Gateway came out with flat screen TVs. They're eminently qualified to make flat screen TVs. They've been making flat screen monitors for years. Nobody bought one. And Dell came out with MP3 players and PDAs. And they make great quality products, and they can make perfectly well-designed products, and nobody bought one. In fact, talking about it now, we can't even imagine buying an MP3 player from Dell. Why would you buy an MP3 player from a computer company? But we do it every day. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. The goal is not to do business with everybody who needs what you have. The goal is to do business with people who believe what you believe. Here's the best part. None of what I'm telling you is my opinion. It's all grounded in the tenets of biology, not psychology, biology. If you look at a cross-section of the human brain, looking from the top down, what you see is the human brain is actually broken into three major components that correlate perfectly with the golden circle. Our newest brain, our Homo sapien brain, our neocortex, corresponds with the what level. The neocortex is responsible for all of our rational and analytical thought and language. The middle two sections make up our limbic brains, and our limbic brains are responsible for all of our feelings, like trust and loyalty. It's also responsible for all human behavior, all decision-making, and it has no capacity for language. In other words, when we communicate from the outside in, yes, people can understand vast amounts of complicated information like features and benefits and facts and figures. It just doesn't drive behavior. When we communicate from the inside out, we're talking directly to the part of the brain that controls behavior, and then we allow people to rationalize it with the tangible things we say and do. This is where gut decisions come from. Sometimes you can give somebody all the facts and your figures, and they say, I know what all the facts and details say, but it just doesn't feel right. Why would we use that verb? It doesn't feel right. Because the part of the brain that controls decision-making doesn't control language. And the best we can muster up is, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. Or sometimes you say you're leading with your heart, or you're leading with your soul. Well, I hate to break it to you, those aren't other body parts controlling your behavior. It's all happening here in your limbic brain, the part of the brain that controls decision-making and not language. But if you don't know why you do what you do, and people respond to why you do what you do, then how will you ever get people to vote for you or buy something from you, or more importantly, be loyal and want to be a part of what it is that you do? Again, the goal is not just to sell people who need what you have. The goal is to sell to people who believe what you believe. The goal is not just to hire people who need a job. It's to hire people who believe what you believe. I always say that, there's if you hire people just because they can do a job, they'll work for your money. But if you hire people who believe what you believe, they work for you with blood and sweat and tears. And nowhere else is there a better example of this than with the Wright brothers. Most people don't know about Samuel Pierpont Langley. And back in the early 20th century, the pursuit of powered man flight was like the dot-com of the day. Everybody was trying it. And Samuel Pierpont Langley had what we assume to be the recipe for success. I mean, even now, you ask people, why did your product or why did your company fail? And people always give you the same permutation of the same three things. Undercapitalized, the wrong people, bad market conditions. It's always the same three things. So let's explore that. Samuel Pierpont Langley was given $50,000 by the War Department to figure out this flying machine. Money was no problem. He held a seat at Harvard and worked at the Smithsonian and was extremely well connected. He knew all the big minds of the day. He hired the best minds money could find, and the market conditions were fantastic. The New York Times followed him around everywhere, and everyone was rooting for Langley. And how come we've never heard of Samuel Pierpont Langley? A few hundred miles away in Dayton, Ohio, Orville and Wilbur Wright. They had none of what we consider to be the recipe for success. They had no money. They paid for their dream with the proceeds from their bicycle shop. Not a single person on the Wright brothers team had a college education, not even Orville or Wilbur. And the New York Times followed them around nowhere. The difference was Orville and Wilbur were driven by a cause, by a purpose, by a belief. They believed that if they could figure out this flying machine, it'll change the course of the world. Samuel Pierpont Langley was different. He wanted to be rich and he wanted to be famous. He was in pursuit of the result. He was in pursuit of the riches. And lo and behold, look what happened. The people who believed in the Wright brothers' dream worked with them with blood and sweat and tears. The others just worked for the paycheck. And they tell stories of how every time the Wright brothers went out, they would have to take 5 sets of parts because that's how many times they would crash before they came in for supper. And eventually on December 17th, 1903, the Wright brothers took flight. And no one was there to even experience it. We found out about it a few days later. And further proof that Langley was motivated by the wrong thing, the day the Wright brothers took flight, he quit. He could have said, that's an amazing discovery, guys, and I will improve upon your technology. But he didn't. He wasn't first. He didn't get rich. He didn't get famous. So he quit. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And if you talk about what you believe, you will attract those who believe what you believe. Well, why is it important to attract those who believe what you believe? Something called the law of diffusion of innovation. And if you don't know the law, you definitely know the terminology. The first 2.5% of our population are our innovators. The next 13.5% of our population are our early adopters. The next 34% are your early majority, your late majority, and your laggards. The only reason these people buy touch-tone phones is because you can't buy rotary phones anymore. We all sit at various places at various times on the scale, but what the law of diffusion of innovation tells us is that if you want mass market success or mass market acceptance of an idea, you cannot have it until you achieve this tipping point between 15 and 18% market penetration, and then the system tips. And I love asking businesses, what's your conversion on new business? And they love to tell you, oh, it's about 10% proudly. Well, you can trip over 10% of the customers. We all have about 10% who just get it. That's how we describe them, right? That's like that gut feeling, oh, they just get it. The problem is, how do you find the ones that just get it before you're doing business with them versus the ones who don't get it? So it's this here, this little gap that you have to close, as Geoffrey Moore calls it, crossing the chasm. Because you see, the early majority will not try something until someone else has tried it first. And these guys, the innovators and the early adopters, they're comfortable making those gut decisions. They're more comfortable making those intuitive decisions that are driven by what they believe about the world and not just what product is available. These are the people who stood online for 6 hours to buy an iPhone when they first came out, when you could have just walked into the store the next week and bought one off the shelf. These are the people who spent $40,000 on flat screen TVs when they first came out, even though the technology was substandard. And by the way, they didn't do it because the technology was so great. They did it for themselves. It's because they wanted to be first. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And what you do simply proves what you believe. In fact, people will do the things that prove what they believe. The reason that person bought the iPhone in the first 6 hours, or stood in line for 6 hours, was because of what they believed about the world and how they wanted everybody to see them. They were first. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So let me give you a famous example, a famous failure and a famous success of the law of diffusion of innovation. First, the famous failure. It's a commercial example. As we said before a second ago, the recipe for success is money and the right people and the right marketing conditions, right? You should have success then. Look at TiVo. From the time TiVo came out about 8 or 9 years ago to this current day, they are the single highest quality product on the market. Hands down, there is no dispute. They were extremely well funded. Market conditions were fantastic. I mean, we use TiVo as a verb. I TiVo stuff on my piece of junk Time Warner DVR all the time. But TiVo's a commercial failure. They've never made money. And when they went IPO, their stock was at about $30 or $40 and then plummeted, and it's never traded above 10. In fact, I don't think it's even traded above 6, except for a couple of little spikes. Because you see, when TiVo launched their product, they told us all what they had. They said, we have a product that pauses live TV, skips commercials, rewinds live TV, and memorizes your viewing habits without you even asking. And the cynical majority said, we don't believe you. We don't need it. We don't like it. You're scaring us. What if they had said, if you're the kind of person who likes to have total control over every aspect of your life, boy, do we have a product for you. It pauses live TV, skips commercials, memorizes your viewing habits, etc., etc. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it, and what you do simply serves as the proof of what you believe. Now let me give you a successful example of the law of diffusion of innovation. In the summer of 1963, 250,000 people showed up on the Mall in Washington to hear Dr. King speak. They sent out no invitations, and there was no website to check the date. How do you do that? Well, Dr. King wasn't the only man in America who was a great orator. He wasn't the only man in America who suffered in a pre-civil rights America. In fact, some of his ideas were bad, but he had a gift. He didn't go around telling people what needed to change in America. He went around and told people what he believed. I believe, I believe, I believe, he told people. And people who believed what he believed took his cause and they made it their own, and they told people. And some of those people created structures to get the word out to even more people. And lo and behold, 250,000 people showed up on the right day, on the right time to hear him speak. How many of them showed up for him? 0. They showed up for themselves. It's what they believed about America that got them to travel on a bus for 8 hours to stand in the sun in Washington in the middle of August. It's what they believed, and it wasn't about black versus white. 25% of the audience was white. Dr. King believed that there are 2 types of laws in this world, those that are made by a higher authority and those that are made by man. And not until all the laws that are made by man are consistent with the laws that are made by the higher authority will we live in a just world. It just so happens that the civil rights movement was the perfect thing to help him bring his cause to life. We followed him not for him, but for ourselves. And by the way, he gave the I have a dream speech, not the I have a plan speech. Listen to politicians now with their comprehensive 12-point plans. They're not inspiring anybody. Because there are leaders and there are those who lead. Leaders hold a position of power or authority, but those who lead inspire us. Whether they're individuals or organizations, we follow those who lead, not because we have to, but because we want to. We follow those who lead, not for them, but for ourselves. And it's those who start with why that have the ability to inspire those around them or find others who inspire them. Thank you very much.
All right, I hope you guys liked that presentation by Simon Sinek. I've watched it a few times, and I've actually seen him at Coach Summit. They had him present a few years ago, so it's really cool to see him talk about the whole why and how it relates to us as Beachbody coaches. So if you're interested in watching that, you can definitely YouTube it, and it'll come up. But I took some notes, and I hope you guys did too. So the golden circle, it made a lot of sense, right? I think a lot of times as coaches, it's so much easier to share the what and the how, which is like, sharing about the products and sharing about how we run challenge groups and we have the support of a team. And we don't dig deep enough to share the actual why. So like why we're doing this in the first place, right? What we're looking to accomplish, what we see ourselves doing with this business and this lifestyle in the future, right? Like what it's going to provide for our families. And the freedom and the time and everything that it can have for us, because, it's being vulnerable. And a lot of people struggle with just getting out of their comfort zones and being vulnerable and raw and real. And they're worried about what, Susie Q is going to think about this or that or whatever. So it's easier to hide ourselves behind the products than it is to be vulnerable and just put ourselves out there. He said something about, the why. It's talking about your purpose and your cause and the belief. So I want you guys to really think about, what is your why? Like, why are you here? Why did you show up on the team call? Why are you part of the team? Why are you working on your health and fitness goals? What does that mean for you and your family and your future? And why should anyone care? So if you are on this journey, the reason why other people should care is because you've seen firsthand how life-changing it can be, right? So why wouldn't you want to share that with others and make other people's lives healthier and happier and more fulfilling and have purpose and financial freedom and all these things that could come out of this, right? But you have to, speak with confidence and passion and belief, because if you are, like I said, just hiding behind the products, people aren't going to be able to connect with that. They're not going to be able to build that trust with you, because all you're doing is just sharing facts and you're not really sharing the story. So when he said facts, well, he didn't say this, but he said, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it, right? So we have to be more conscious when we're writing our posts and sharing videos and doing live videos and stuff like that. Not only on our social medias, but even when we're talking to people in person. Like, if someone asks you, like, what do you do for a living? Do you tell them you're also a Beachbody coach? I know when I first started, it was kind of awkward and weird, and like I didn't know how to explain it, and I didn't really share it that often because I just wasn't confident in myself. I haven't built up that belief yet in me doing this, because Beachbody is a very reputable company, right? Like, the brand, the marketing that they do for us and for themselves, like, is incredible. So if you tell someone, like, oh, I'm a Beachbody coach, even if they don't know what you're talking about, you tell them, oh, have you heard of P90X or Insanity? They're going to be like, oh, yeah, I've heard of that. So everyone knows it's a household name, right? But, facts tell and stories sell. So even though you tell about why Shakeology is so great, and why the 20-day fixed nutrition plan is so great, and the workouts and this and that, if you're not sharing the stories behind it, and not just your story, but sharing other people's stories too, like other transformations and what this business and the challenge groups and the support have done for other people too, it's going to be so much harder for them to understand it and get it, because you could tell me, yeah, like, Shakeology has 70 superfoods and ingredients and blah, 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 but to them, that means nothing. If you tell them, hey, like, I started drinking this shake, and within 2 weeks, I had better energy. My digestion improved. My hair started looking better. I just felt, better inside and out. Like, I didn't need my 3 p.m. coffee to get me through the day because I was just full and energetic, and I didn't need it anymore. That's something they can relate to, as opposed to, oh, it has this, this, and this ingredient. Like, people don't care about that. That's just a fact. But the story behind it and the actual proof of what you're doing and the results that you're getting, that's what's going to help them really understand and just, go for it with you, right? So your why is definitely going to be that driver. It's going to push you past the obstacles and the rejections and the failures, because we all know, like, this business is simple, but it's not always easy, right? Especially because of the fact that we have to self-motivate ourselves. But if you know deep down what that why is, and you're sharing it and you're putting it out there, that's going to make you want to get up earlier or stay up later or get on a call like tonight, because you're sacrificing your time to be here, right? Like you're making an effort to show up for yourself and your business and for the team. And that's not something that like I can force upon you. Like, it's not like, oh, if you don't show up, like you're not going to get paid. Like, you know what I mean? Like this isn't a traditional business or a traditional job. So you have to really understand what is that belief and that why that you have, and that gets strengthened every single day with consistently showing up, with building your confidence, with talking to people, with just, like I said, failing forward, being persistent, understanding what it is you're trying to accomplish, not just tomorrow or this month with hitting Success Club or, rank advancing. It's, okay, what am I going to do a year from now, 5 years from now? How is my life going to look 10 years from now because of this business and this opportunity? And where's my health going to be? And all this other stuff. How am I going to impact other people, right? So I definitely want you guys to show up for yourself, number one, and just really think about that and really, maybe take some time out tonight or sometime this week and just sit and like really focus on what it is that you want out of this, what it is you want to accomplish, why, like I said, why did you get started? Why are you still here? Why are you still going? Like, what is it that you want to create with this business and this journey and being part of it together? Because I do feel like sometimes we lose sight of that. And we actually have something really exciting with Diesel Nation coming up on Wednesday night at 7:30 Eastern Time. We have a soul search. So this is going to be like talked about a lot on there, that why, and really just digging deep and going back to the roots of it. Because company-wise, like we've seen this kind of like shift from the why to like the what and the how. And we really need to just go back to that. Because like I said, knowing the ingredients of Shakeology is not going to make you want to wake up in the morning and send out 10 invites to get people on Shakeology, right? So you have to really just consider the fact that this is seriously life-changing. Why has it been life-changing for you? Just put yourself out there and really just connect with people and be human and be real and raw and be okay to fail forward and make mistakes, because it's going to happen. Like even today, I'm 4 years, it's going to be 5 years in September into this business, and I still make mistakes. There's still some days that I'm not perfect. And I just understand that it's a journey. It's not a destination. It's not like your boss gives you, X, Y, and Z task and you do the same thing over and over every single day and that's it. Like, no, this is a learning process. This is every single day. You need to be putting yourself out there and learning and being resourceful and finding new techniques, because something that might have worked, 3 months ago, it might not be effective anymore because everything's changing with social media and just the way people communicate and people's attention spans. Like, all that stuff is constantly changing, so we have to adapt with that. And in my eyes, like, that's super exciting to me. Like, I love that. Like, I love that it's not the same thing every single day in and out, because I'd be so bored and so miserable or something like that. So it's great that we have, new people that we're constantly working with, new people that we're talking to and inviting to the business and inviting to our challengers. So I really want to just like push that on you, like really dig deep, think about it, think about where you see yourself a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, etc. Because if you're willing to put in the work and the sacrifice and just really hone in on what it is that's going to drive you, your business is going to be very successful and you're going to make a huge impact on other people. And it's just going to open up doors for you and opportunities for you to create that whatever type of lifestyle you desire. But you have to be willing, obviously, to put in the work and make that effort and just better yourself every single day. So that's my piece. If you guys don't have any questions, comments, concerns, just give me like a thumbs up. Thank you for being on. I love you all, and I hope you guys, oh, Nathan, you're so sweet. I think that's the wine. Whenever I have wine on the team call, I just like start preaching. I'm like, yeah. But another note, this is like totally like off topic, but if you guys aren't already signed up for Summit, I really, really, really encourage you to get your tickets and go to New Orleans with us, or New Orleans, however you say it, in July. Doesn't matter like how or why, whatever, just figure out a way to make it happen. Yes, Katie, you have a question. Shoot. But yeah, like attending live events, whether it be a Super Saturday in your hometown, which is going to be coming up in April 8th is Super Saturday. Some events are on Fridays, some events on Sundays, depending on your location, but definitely be part of the live events. Besides, like, our team, and like we have a very great team culture, and I love that you guys are constantly communicating with one another and all that stuff. But being present, like an energy of having like a few hundred people in the room, or if you're going to summon, there's like thousands of people there with you, like it makes it all click. Like there's nothing that can replace that feeling. Like you really understand, like, okay, this is the bigger picture. Like this is for me, I belong here, and all of us are on a bigger mission together. So I feel like I talk about my why a lot. How do I not overkill it? I don't think there's a way for you to overkill it. Honestly, if you're adding new people to your social media every single day, and even if you have, let's say 300 friends, those 300 friends, unless it's like your mom and your family and your close friends that like literally go to your page and like read through all your posts, not everyone's going to see your stuff every single day. Like, so I don't think there's a way for you to overkill it. And if your friends or family or whoever like is on your social media and they do feel like you're overkilling it, then whatever, you don't want to work with that person anyways. Like if they want to unfriend you or whatever, like that's their problem, not yours. I think you should definitely be sharing your story or bits and parts of your journey every single day, as well as other things that obviously like interest you, your hobbies, your lifestyle, like your relationships with your family, friends, significant other, kids, whatever. Like include all that stuff. Like it's not like all you do is talk about Beachbody. Like talk about other things too, but I don't think you can overkill your story if you're coming from a genuine place and you're speaking from your heart and you truly just want to share and inspire others. There's no way that you can overkill that. I'm not saying like copy and paste the same story every single day, but like I said, just share other bits and pieces of who you are and how you've gone to where you are and where you're going and where you want to be and where you strive to achieve throughout all that. So I hope that answered your question. Okay, awesome. Well, I'm going to wrap it up because it's already past 9 o'clock. And I know you guys are probably tired and have, 9 o'clock Eastern time. But you have other things to do. But thank you all for coming on. And just going to give Sarah a shout out for her awesome video. Girl, you did so good. I don't know why you were like freaking out about it, but you did awesome. And that's what it is. Like, just get out there, be vulnerable, be real, share. You don't have to know every single fact about everything. Like, that's not the point of it. Like I said, just share the why, and everything else will follow. So have a great night, everybody. We can take a quick pic. Nathan's not on camera, but if you want to like put your camera on, I don't know if you're like busy or at work or doing something like driving or whatever, so maybe it's not a good idea. But for everybody else who's on, just smile for me. Awesome. I love you guys. Thank you for being on. And I'm so happy that you guys are all part of our tribe. So let's go out there and kick some butt and share our stories. And I look forward to seeing all of your journeys and stories. So if you don't post in the next few days, I'm going to be like, hey, remember being on the call? You got to go share your story now. So have a great night, everybody. Bye.